Okay, circumference of a circle, specifically let's look at circles. Here's a nice little diagram that you might have seen before. One thing's missing on that diagram, and that is the centre. The centre is in the middle. Centre. The centre is in the middle. Let's do yellow. The distance around the outside, how long is that black line? That's called the circumference. For some reason, someone somewhere didn't want to call it a perimeter. We call the perimeter of a circle is called a circumference for some reason. Someone somewhere had a bright idea. Okay, so the circumference is the distance around the outside, but to find it, we need to know what these other things are called. So the diameter goes through the centre, and it's from one side to the other. So it's the biggest line you can draw from one side to the other. And the radius is from the centre to the outside. So the radius is a half the size of the diameter. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's do some questions. There is a rule for the circumference of a circle. C equals 2 pi r. Pi is just a number in your calculator. Pi is the number 3.1415, and it never stops. It's just a button in your calculator. I can talk about pi in another video. We really don't care. It's just a number in the calculator, and away we go. Clearly, we know that in here is a multiply by sign between the 2 and the pi and the r. It's 2 times pi times r, and we just need to know what r is. You may see a rule, C equals pi d. D stands for the diameter. Please never use that rule. Please never use that rule. There is really only one rule for the circumference. C equals 2 pi r. You just got to trust me on that one. Okay. Circumference. What we're going to do, we're going to look at that circle and go circumference of a circle, look at our formula sheet and go, oh, I've got a rule for that. C equals 2 pi r. We're going to look at the circle and go, what's the radius? And you're going to say, it's 8. So it's 2 times pi times r, and r is 8. And we're going to put that in the calculator. Using the pi button, that's a 50.2654, blah, blah, blah. How easy is that? You just got to know where the pi button is in the calculator. Okay, here's another one. So, if it asks for the circumference of that circle, you're going to go, hey, I've got a rule for that. C equals 2 pi r. So it's 2 times pi times, well, what's r? So if it's 10 for the diameter, then we know the radius, which is from the centre out, has to be half of that diameter. So here our radius is 5. We're going to go 2 times pi in your calculator times 5, 31.4159. If you can't find the pi button in your calculator, I reckon you should just Google it. How do I find the pi button on a Sharp or Casio or Hewlett-Packard calculator? And Google will tell you the answer. Okay, so as far as full circles, how hard can that be? The only thing they can try and trick you with is trying to give you the diameter. So you just got to look. Every time you look at a circle, you go, what's the radius? And look really hard. Okay, let's move on to more compound shapes. So you can see here that we've got a half a circle there and another half a circle there, but if I drew them together, then they're actually going to be a full circle. So the circumference or the perimeter around this shape here includes the circumference of a circle, but it also includes these straights. So think of a running track, yeah? So it's a running track, it's got 2 straights and then 2 half circles. So we're going to break that up into we can just do it 2 different ways. So the perimeter of the shape will be the circumference of a circle plus the two lengths. Well, the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r plus L, doesn't really matter. 2 pi r, 2 times pi times r. We need to work out what r is. So let's have a bit of a good hard look at this circle. I'm going to rub this out, but there's my circle, and we know that that length there is 48. We don't want that length, we want just the radius, so from the centre out. So can you see that our radius is 24? It's a half of 48, and yes, you're allowed to do that in your calculator, but if you don't need to, that's okay. So my radius is 24, so radius is 24. That length there is this 50, plus another 50. I'm going to whack that in the calculator. 2 times pi times 24 plus 2 lots of 50. Okay, and they were metres. You can do some rounding there if you want, doesn't really matter. Okay, so you can see here we're just thinking, I've got to walk around this running track. Where am I walking? I'm walking up the straight, round the corner, up the straight, and then back around a corner, and those two corners turn into be a circle. Okay. We'll cover a few in this video. Hey, look at this one here. Can you see that we've got a half circle, plus we've got a straight line, and another straight line. So let's just use colours here. Perimeter equals, I've got a half a circle plus 2 lines plus another line. That's very graphical, isn't it? So the green ones are easy. That one, the green line is 1.4 and 1.4. And the blue line is 1.2, and there's just all pluses there. I've got to think about this half circle. So I know a full circle is 2 times pi times r, and I want a half a circle. I'm going to leave the r out. And I'm going to come back and go, I just want to put in here what my radius is. So we know that that length there is this 1.2, but my radius is from the centre out. There's my radius. If that's 1.2, in your calculator you're going to go divided by 2 and you're going to get 0.6 metres. So 0.6 metres goes down there in my radius. That looks really nasty, doesn't it? But we're going to use our calculator. And if you've got the Casio FX82, it's a ripper calculator. You can make your calculator look exactly like that. 2 times pi times plus 1.2, 5.88. Nothing. I've done it in one big long line, but if you wanted to, you can do that calculation completely separately and get a number. And then you can do that. and then add that. Doesn't really matter, whatever floats your boat. Okay. Long video, sorry about this, but we're getting into some extension here, so if you've had enough, pack up. Okay, we're finding the perimeter of this shape. So we've got, well, not a full circle. That is a quarter circumference. And then we can't forget we've got to go all the way around, so I've got to add 2 of them. So let's think about this. The perimeter will equal, I've got that length, and I also have that length, and I am going to add them together. The orange lengths are easy. I'm just going to add 11 twice, and I'm thinking about this. Well, I don't have a rule for a quarter circle, but I certainly do know that a full circle is 2 times pi times r. And it's a quarter circle, so I want to divide that by 4. I could divide that by 4, or I could say it's a quarter of a circle, so it's a quarter of 2 times pi times r. Okay. And all we really need to know is what that r is. So a quarter times 2 times pi times r. Well, that's got to be the centre of the circle. So my radius is just 11. Then I've got to add 11 and add 11. I'm going to put that in my calculator. I get 39 point, couple of decimals, and they're millimetres. Have we had enough? Oh gosh. Yeah, why not? Can you see how close that is to the other one? But we don't have a quarter of a circle here. We've got 3/4 of a circle. So we've got 3/4 of a circle, and then we've got an 18 and another 18. So my perimeter is going to be all of that added up. Again, we know that the full circle would be c equals 2 pi r. I know that's 18 and the other orange is 18. But it's not a full circle, is it? It's 3/4 of a circle, so it's 3/4 of whatever that number is. That's how you think about it. We love our fractions, don't we? And all we need to do is to work out what my radius is. Radius is from the centre of the circle out, so my radius is 18. So that radius is 18. So it's again, if looking at all of that makes you uncomfortable, just do the circle, 3/4 of that circle, and then add the 18 and add the 18 in separate steps. But we're big boys and girls now. We should be able to work this out. Times 18 plus 18. And you've got to be fast and efficient in that calculator. Whoops. And pick right colours. 120.82. And it's in centimetres. Goodness, thanks for hanging in, those of you who did. There were some tough ones in there. Make sure you do easy ones and hard ones in your practice, please.